Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show that's so nice we're doing it twice. That's right, we're doing Volrath, the Shapestealer, part 2. You guys wanted it, and it did well with the views, so I'm cashing in on this fucking cash cow. Let's go. So if you haven't seen the original Volrath combo breakdown, pause this video and go check it out here. It will explain a lot of the baseline things you can do with Volrath. Okay, so very quickly, Volrath is a 7/5 that can put a neg1/neg1 counter on a creature at the beginning of your combat. And for 1 mana, Volrath can turn into a copy of any creature with a counter on it until your next turn. Except it's a 7/5 and keeps this ability. So let's dive straight into some more Volrath combos and synergies. But first, remember to like, sub, and comment for all my janky shit. Okay, let's start with the clone effects. If you have Volrath out and another creature with some kind of counter on it, like grizzly bears, you can copy the bears for 1, and Volrath becomes a 7/5 grizzly bear. Now, if you play a clone card, like clone I guess, and have it enter as Volrath, it actually enters as a 7/5 grizzly bear with Volrath's ability. This essentially gives you a second Volrath because you can turn your clone into other creatures with the Volrath ability, but it will always turn back into your 7/5 bear with Volrath's ability on your next turn. This also avoids the legendary rule with Volrath. You can get more copies of Volrath with Myr Propagator, an artifact creature that says pay 3 and tap it to make a copy of it. So if you turn Volrath into the Propagator and use its ability to create a token, you will create a 7/5 Myr Propagator with Volrath's ability that can create more 7/5 Volrath Myrs. But by using this ability and manipulating the stack, we can actually exploit enter the battlefield effects. Volrath isn't normally able to use enter the battlefield effects. His copy ability doesn't actually make him enter the battlefield. But if we turn him into the Propagator and use that ability, then the ability goes on the stack. Now, before we let that ability resolve, we can turn Volrath into another creature on the battlefield that has an enter the battlefield effect, like, I don't know, Avenger or Zendikar. That's a pretty good one. If that resolves, Volrath turns into Avenger or Zendikar, but because the Propagator ability is still on the stack and is linked to the Volrath permanent, it will still resolve and create a copy of the 7/5 Avenger or Zendikar with Volrath's ability, and you will get 1 sick enter the battlefield effect as well. You can get a similar effect with Giant Adephage and Spawn Wraith, both of which are creatures with trample that create a token of themselves when they deal combat damage to a player. So if you turn Volrath into one of them and swing with your 7/5 trampler, if you deal damage, you get a token that's a 7/5 Spawn Wraith with the Volrath ability. Now, same deal as a Propagator. If you deal damage with your Volrath Spawn Wraith, the token creating effect goes on the stack. Before it resolves, if you change Volrath into something else, then your token will enter as that creature with Volrath's ability. Let's kick this effect up even more with, shit, I'm gonna butcher this, aren't I? Nactyl, Nacatl, I don't know. Cat Warpride must be blocked by exactly 1 creature, and whenever it attacks, you create X tokens that are copies of Cat Warpride that come onto the battlefield tapped and attacking, where X is a number of creatures defending player controls. You exile them at end of turn. You see where this is going, eh? Turn Volrath into the Warpride. Swing with your Volrath Warpride. The token ability goes on the stack, and you respond by turning your Volrath into something else with an awesome ETB. And then, boom, you get X copies of that creature entering the battlefield. Or, you could just win the game. If the creature you turn Volrath into is a Biovisionary, a creature that says at the beginning of your end step if you control 4 or more creature named Biovisionary, you just win the game. All you gotta do is attack a player with at least 2 creatures and hope they can't kill one of your 7/5s. Pure value. But you guys didn't come here for value. I know what you came for. You came here for pure, refined, garbage jank. So here it is. Here is how you turn Volrath into any non-land card on the battlefield. You like your opponent's artifact and you want one? Or you want 2 of your bomb-ass enchantments? This is how. You need Volrath, Liquid Metal Coating, either Karn Silver Golem or Karn the Great Creator, and something that can put counters on a creature, like Experiment Kraj. Step 1. If the permanent you want isn't an artifact, turn it into an artifact with Liquid Metal Coating. Step 2. Use Karn's ability to turn a non-creature artifact into a creature with power and toughness equal to its CMC.
It's alive!
Step 3. Tap Experiment Crage to put a +1/+1 counter on the newly made artifact creature. Alternatively, you can wait until combat and put a -1/-1 counter on that creature with Volrath's first ability. Step 4. Turn Volrath into that artifact creature with the counter on it. Volrath becomes a copy of the original permanent. This is the tricky part, because Volrath does not become an artifact or creature despite you copying the artifact creature whatever typed card. This is because these attributes are not added to the permanent itself, but are temporary effects given by liquid metal coating and Karn. So Volrath is literally an enchantment in this case until your next turn, but still retains his copy ability. You can do this with planeswalkers as well, but it requires some additional steps. Let's say our opponent has a Jace the Mind Sculptor and we want it because we can't afford that type of shit. So turn it into an artifact with liquid metal coating and then into a creature with Karn. Now put a counter on it with Experiment Crage. You need Crage in order for this to work. Crage has all activated abilities of all creatures with +1/+1 counters on them, including your opponent's creatures, and including the loyalty abilities of your opponent's Jace. The reason we need to do this is because if Volrath became Jace right now, he would become a Jace Planeswalker, not the Jace Artifact Creature Planeswalker, and since Volrath has no loyalty counters on him, he would die instantly. So in order to fix this, we need to turn Volrath into Crage. So now Volrath has all the activated abilities of all creatures with +1/+1 counters on it. So let's use Jace's +2 loyalty ability, putting 2 loyalty counters on Volrath. Now that there are loyalty counters on Volrath, you can turn him into Jace and he won't die. And you can now do this with any planeswalker because Volrath has loyalty counters on him. Alternatively, you could fate transfer all the loyalty counters from that artifact creature planeswalker to Volrath, but in this process you would actually kill the planeswalker and just put loyalty counters on Volrath in order to copy any future planeswalkers. Also, you probably don't want to do this on your own planeswalkers because of the legend rule. And that is some more jank combos with Volrath, the Shapestealer. If you like this video, like, sub, ring YouTube's bell, and comment down below if you want to see part 3. No, that's a joke. I'm not making part 3. This is the end. That's it. Enjoy it. I'm sorry, that's it. I'll see you next time right here on the internet.